Hey, what's up everybody? This is Deadite, and I'm going to be playing Anno 1800, or if it makes more sense to you, Year 1800. Now this is going to be a kind of quick, I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible, starter guide for anybody who is new to Anno, and if you've never played the series before, it's quite a bit different than your traditional city builders. Now if you're coming from games like SimCity or City Skylines, what I mean by quite different, Anno is a little more goal-oriented, I would say. It's more immediately apparent what you're working towards in Anno, which is actually why I prefer Anno. I love SimCity, I love City Skylines. I have an issue with both of those where I'm just trucking along, expanding my city, having a good time, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what's my objective, what's my point? And that's why I like Anno here, because you almost always have a very clear objective on what you're working towards. So first off, we have a trading post here and a ship. Very first thing we want to do, we actually have some free supplies on our ship here. We're going to transfer those over into our trading post. Now we can't transfer all the wood right now, so we're just going to leave that on the ship until we need it. Now the very first thing you have to do is make a marketplace. This is going to be kind of the center of your town, so you want to have a good centralized location. You're going to be building many houses in Anno, so give yourself plenty of room. Let's go right here. It's not a super big deal where you place it, just leave yourself plenty of room. And you do have to connect this to your trading post before we start putting down any buildings. Now, I'm going to pre-plan where we're going to put the houses here. So, farmer residence, that's the basic workforce in Anno. There is fire in this game, and you want your firefighters to be able to get around your city as easily as possible, or, you know, this could happen. Let's sit and watch some fire for a moment.
A fire broke out. A fire broke out.
So yeah, that will happen. So I wouldn't make your strips of houses too long where there's not a cross street. And actually for demonstration purposes, I'm going to play on the fastest speed just so we can get through as much as possible. I don't want to make this too long. So there we go, we have some basic farmhouses here, and they're going to have a variety of needs that we need to fill. As you can see here, they're satisfied because there's a market within range. Now, those green lines are going to show you the reach of your market, so we're plenty within range to satisfy that need. Now, why we want to satisfy their needs is because that's how they rank up to the next class of citizen. So next, we're going to need some worker clothes for them. They're satisfied on fish just because we had some fish to begin with, but actually let's make them some food first by placing down some fisheries. Let's start those. I'm going to start those a little bit over here, because you are going to need to make quite a few of those later, once we get more people. So yeah, so we have some fish coming in now, but we do need some work clothes. And if you click on anything that you need to build, it will show you what is required to actually produce that. So we need a sheep farm. Now we're going to be doing a lot of farming, a lot of stuff with animals and farms, so we want to give ourselves plenty of room. We're going to actually start those way out here. Draw a quick road over there. And as you can see here, this is the blueprint mode. We actually didn't have enough resources to build that, so that's going to actually sit and not be built until we get 2 more timber. Now, how do you make timber? You need a lumberjack hut. Now, this is going to show us the percentage of how much it's going to produce according to how many trees are within range. You see, if we go over here where there's not really much trees, it's going to lower that percentage. So we want to give ourselves plenty of room with this as well. Where do we want to do trees? Let's do trees up here. There we go. So that's going to be getting us some trees. Now we need to turn that wood into timber. We're going to go ahead and put that right there. Now they will need a warehouse. Now a small warehouse is right here. That costs 10 timber, so we don't quite have enough. As you can see here, it says no warehouse in range. So we're going to actually go back to our ship. We have that free timber on our ship. We're going to transfer all of that over. And now we should have plenty to make a warehouse and get everything kicking off here. Okay, so they're going to spring into production now that we put the warehouse down. And now we should also be able to build this. our sheep farm. Now when you put down a farm, you have to make sure you also have to put down the fields. Now it's going to say we need to place 3 fields. Now you can actually, if you place these next to each other, they'll actually connect and make one big field. And you can do that with multiple ones, so you can make a gigantic sheep farm if you want to. You don't have to do it that way, but it makes it look a little nicer. Now speaking of looking nicer, there is a attractive meter up here, which dictates how happy your citizens are. Here's our work. They're kind of unhappy right now. Let's actually see what they're unhappy with. Yeah, close. We're working on that. Give us some time. So if you want to beautify your city, there are... See, I don't usually do my cities perfect. Like, we're going to mess up and have some weird, like, corners and angles. Now, a good thing to do when you have that happen, just go ahead and, like, fill them in with some nice trees. Turn those weird angles... I don't have a good one to show right now, but we'll get some later. Just turn those into things that increase the attractiveness of your city, and that's going to help out in the long run. So, now we need a place to actually make the work clothes. So that's going to take what's being produced from the sheep and it's going to turn that into work clothes, which you can see here. It's not quite in production yet. They still need to actually transport the wool to there. Now what you can do here, you can actually change the productivity of this place, and you see that makes them more or less happy according to how much you're working them. We're going to leave that default for now. You can also halt production by clicking this here. And you might be wondering how I'm funding all this. You start with a fairly decent amount of money, but as you can see, we're actually going down with our upkeep, which is shown down here in the bottom right as well. See, this requires a certain amount of farmers to maintain and also a upkeep money cost. So you can actually build a lot of things in Anno, but it's really if you're gaining or losing money is what is important. So since we're losing money, we're going to need some more farmers, and now we should be satisfying all their needs. And we can actually upgrade them if we wanted to. I'm going to do one just to show you. So we're going to actually upgrade this to the next stage, the Age of Industrialism. So that's actually going to give us a higher tier worker. And they're going to be able to build different things down here at the bottom now. Now we have a workers tab. And they have a whole different variety of other needs. They still require the basic needs of the farmer. And there's something, I'm not sure if we'll get to it here, but there's even ages after worker, where those are all going to pile up, and all of a sudden you're going to be really needing to manage the levels of all of these for your entire city. That's what I mean by Anno's a little more objective focused. Now we're going to need some more money, like I was saying, so I'm going to make some more farmer workforce here. Always make sure to do roads, otherwise they will get destroyed. If you leave a house actually sit for too long without a road to it, it'll actually turn into like rubble and you'll have to destroy it. Unfortunate. So here we have the newspaper is ready, and actually it's given me 2 positive bonuses here. Sometimes they can run articles that kind of depict your city in a bad way, and it'll actually decrease the happiness or, you know, the production or income. And you can actually edit. You can do some shenanigans with the newspaper. You can run your own articles, like say if I wanted to, this will increase the happiness by 5, income by 5%. So let's go ahead and do that. That's going to use some of our influence. You don't want to waste this too much. But we're going to actually cover up, this is not a bad article, but it's just a neutral article. We're going to actually place that there and run that to make our city look a little better. And like I said, you can use that to cover up bad articles. I'm guessing that's how the 1800s were. Can't say I've ever seen that feature in anything. It's pretty cool. Now what we have here, we have a villager quest. Let's see, find and collect the farm animals. Okay, so they're just going to be running around. We're very lucky and we saw them right here. Let's go ahead and slow it down. Usually these are harder to find. It's kind of like a little bit of a Where's Waldo, a lot of these villager quests where they ask you to find a person, find a stray dog. So we're going to go ahead and click them, and then we have completed that. And she gives us an item that can be equipped with the trade union. Think of this almost like gear, like city gear. Now a trade union, I don't think we can make yet. We need brick. So I can explain that without actually showing it. If you put down a trade union, you can see that ring around it is actually going to be the influence of the gear that you have. Now to see your gear, you can go to your trading post, and that increases productivity by 20%. For carpentry works and lumberjack huts. So that would actually be perfect to place that trade unit up here by our wood and socket that onto that building, and that would increase the functionality of all of those. Like I said, we don't have any brick right now. We'll be getting to that. I don't want to overload anybody too much. I'm sure I already am if you haven't played this before. So now we should be, yeah, we're in the positives with our money because we made more people to bring in money. Now, the next thing we can do, we want to make sure that everybody is fully satisfied before we really start expanding too quickly. If you expand too quickly, you're going to find out that you're going to fall in some of these categories. So just to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and make some more fish, just to make sure we don't fall behind when we add more people here coming up. Another fishery. Should probably make some more clothes. Let's go ahead and do another sheep farm. Yeah, so that's an example of what I was talking about. See, I messed up the perfectness of my city, but no problem. Let's just fill that in with some nice trees. And now it looks perfectly natural, and it's increasing the attractiveness of our city. So you don't have to metagame and do like a perfect city in this game necessarily, because you can actually use that space to your advantage. Now, as you can see, I was referring to this. It actually connects the fields, which is a pretty cool feature. Doesn't look perfectly natural with the setup I did, but it's a cool thing how it conjoins them a little bit. Alright, we also need some more of the knitters. Alright, so we should be good on all the basic needs for a while for our farmers. And now we can safely start upgrading our homes to the workforce tier. Now, if you want to do this quicker than clicking on everyone individually and hitting upgrade, you can actually hit the upgrade button here, and this will show you everybody that can be upgraded. And you can actually click and drag, and there we go. That's all a workforce. There's actually an entire map we have here, so we're going to send our ship out to kind of just explore, see if we can find anybody to trade with, because trade is also an important thing in Anno. So let's actually start satisfying the needs of our workers here. Now, sausage. Let's go to the worker tier. Sausages, what do we need? We need a pig farm. Makes sense. Now, it's one of those things where you have to make a pen. This actually requires us to place 5 down. Alright, got some nice pigs going on now. Gonna make the slaughterhouse, sorry pigs. And we are out of, what are we out of? We need brick. Alright, so next up we need to start making some brick out of clay. Now we need to look for clay. Here's some. Pretty much go to the node, place it on there, quite simple. And then we're gonna place a brick factory right over there. This will probably need a warehouse. It's probably out of the range of a warehouse. Yeah, the icon's telling us we need a warehouse. So we're gonna actually just place one over there. Now, if you want shortcuts to anything in this game, you can actually right-click, and you have a variety of things. You can do roads, you can do marketplace, houses, demolish, copy, upgrade. That's all right there on the right-click if you need it. So now that we have some brick coming in, it's going to be coming in kind of slowly. That's why I'm playing on the fastest speed here, just for demonstration purposes. Your progression will probably be a little slower. I actually recommend playing on the fast speed. I feel like that's a good speed overall for the game, where you can still naturally enjoy things, you don't feel rushed. I think regular is a little too slow, but yeah, just for the purposes of this video, I'm playing on fastest. Now, we're going to need a fire station because we don't want that fire I spoke of before, and we want to have this as centralized as possible. Let's go ahead and put it, let's put it right here. Like I said, we messed up our perfect city. Let's go ahead and beautify this up a little bit. Now, we made that look pretty natural there. So that's actually, you can see the influence of the, ooh, it's kind of risky down there. They're barely in range of the fire station. But like I said, you don't want to make these strips of town too long, because then the fire department won't be able to get there very quickly. Now, you might be wondering why you might want to keep your population happy. There's a variety of reasons, and one of which is right here, right in front of us. You can actually send out extra firefighters when a fire breaks out, according to how happy your citizens are. See, this is locked off right now. We need a population happiness of 10, and a certain population, which we already have. And so there are perks to actually keeping your city happy, which is another cool thing about Anno. And that's what, just to say again, that's what I like about Anno. It's a lot more objective focused, which makes it more fun to me. More than just expand until you get bored. I like having the goals in Anno, for sure. So we have some sausages coming in now. That should be enough to satisfy them once it gets going, because we don't have a huge workforce. Oh, another thing of note, these things that the worker tier establishments actually need workers to run them. So you can't have your farmers working in these, they just won't do it. So the farmers have to work in the farm buildings and the workers have to work in the worker buildings. So we're starting to lose some money. We're going to need to expand a little more. Let's go ahead and put down some more houses here. I forgot we sent out that ship. That reminds me. What did he find? We found another city over here. Okay, let's go see what they're up to. Looks like they have a quest for us. You can see that with the star there. Now you can't just start trading with anybody. There's diplomacy, and right now they're peaceful, but we can't trade yet. That's trade rights right there. And there's another newspaper that's gonna decrease our happiness. Bankruptcy. Uh-oh. Let's go ahead and cover that one up. Never happened. Alright. So we're gonna go over here, get this quest. Hopefully we're gonna make this guy happy and be able to trade with him. Okay, what's he need? Deliver timber. So he needs some timber. Okay. Pretty easy. Gonna send our ship back to our little home here. How are we doing on timber? We're actually doing pretty good. We're actually maxed out. Just placing down some more citizens. We're trying to get our number here to be back in the positives. We don't want to be draining money too much here. It's one of the easiest things to mess up in Anno is expanding too quickly, too soon. Alright, so we're loaded up with the timber here. Let's go ahead and go turn that in. Hopefully we'll be on his good side to where we can then trade. We're going to send that ship over there. Let's take a look at his place. He's got a church. Nice. Nice place he's got here. Alright, so the quest is now complete. Let's see if we got on his good side. Not quite. Not quite enough. Let's just keep exploring the map a little bit here. Oh, there we have a delivery quest. Let's go ahead and accept that. Pick her up at the lighthouse. Where's the lighthouse? Okay, over here. Gotta send our ship over there. Oh, it's real close. Perfect. Alright, we're gonna have to transport these goods here. And if you click over here on your quest, it's gonna show you exactly where it needs to go. There's Fog of War. We don't know where that's at, but we can just click it and our ship will go there momentarily. Alright, so back to making our workforce happy here. So another thing they need here is bread. Let's go ahead and make some bread. Gonna need grain and a flour mill, and then also a bakery. So grain actually takes up a gigantic area. So let's actually start it over here. Gonna have to do some new roads. Alright. Now, like I said, this requires a gigantic area. You can do it a variety of ways, pretty much however you see fit. Actually, if you see here, we're going to be conflicting with our wood production. So we're going to put it right where it's not conflicting with that off to the side here. And there we go. Perfect. Now you can make improved roads here, paved roads, but they require brick. I don't want to waste too much brick right now. We can go ahead and maybe make some of this main strip here brick. There we go. That will increase how fast things like the firefighters, people transporting goods to warehouses, it actually increases how fast they can get around, which just makes your city more efficient. But at this stage, I'm not going to be wasting too much of that brick. Okay, so back to our bread we're trying to make. We also need a flour mill. Let's go ahead and put that over here. And we also need a bakery. So, what else do they need? They're about to need some soap. Now, soap is currently locked. We need a certain number of workers. We need 300 to actually get to the next thing we need here. So we're going to have to upgrade some more of our farmers, and we're still in the negative income, so we're going to have to do a big expansion of farmers here. Alright, so now we're going to upgrade some more. Let's go ahead and... Now you're going to want to try to keep your higher tier housing in a group, because as you can see here, they actually require a school. That's one of their needs that farmers don't need. So we're going to have to plunk down a school, kind of like how we put down the firehouse, where it's going to have a sphere of influence. So you want to kind of keep the higher tier houses together, just so it's easier for you to manage where you place everything in the future. Because as you can tell, we're already starting to kind of run out of room here on the south side. We're going to have to, you know, start expanding over here to the right. That's what I mean. You need a ton of room in Anno. As you can see, it quickly gets quite large with all of your housing. Alright, so now we can build the trade union here. And this is going to allow us to use those bonuses that we've been gathering. That kind of the gear I was talking about. Now this is kind of an example of not the best design. Actually, I kind of totally messed up. You kind of want to keep things close together. That's what I was doing for the most part with everything except for wood. See, my lumber yards are out here, and they're too far away from our sawmills, so we can't actually affect both of them with this one building. So we kind of have to pick and choose. Let's go ahead and have it affect our sawmills over here. Now you have to actually socket them on here. There we go, 20% increased production to all carpentry works. Let's go ahead and put her in there. Okay, so now she's affecting that. And when you're on the trade union, it will show you what buildings are actually affected by it with the blue highlight around them. So they're actually more productive by socketing her on there. But like I said, ideally you would want to have your sawmills or your lumberjack huts actually closer, but it's kind of hard since you need to kind of keep the area clear for the trees. So that's kind of a tricky one there. Usually it's a lot easier to kind of get everything close together, like how these farms are right next to the places they need to be. You don't have to worry about trees. So it's a little tricky example there. Now we can make soap, which is another requirement of our citizens. So we're going to need some rendering works to make the soap, which is going to use some of our pig fat here. So we might already have enough pigs coming in. We can actually check here at our warehouse. How are we doing on pigs? Not too good. We only have 7. So we're not going to have enough to not make any more pigs, so let's go ahead and make some more. And then the rendering works, going to put that right next door. And then the soap factory right next door to that. Now they actually need a warehouse. They're just out of range of a warehouse here. So we're going to go ahead and put down another one. And if you can see what I'm doing, I'm starting a bad habit where I'm putting things too close together without a cross street, because we will want to expand this way. So let's just go ahead and do it now before we get too out of hand. Because you'll quickly notice you don't have a way to have a nice cross street, and then all of a sudden things are on fire and your firefighters can't get there. So always plan for like leaving a gap every few buildings. I think that's probably fine where I have it now. Now it's getting a little risky that we haven't had a fire yet, so I'm gonna actually build another fire station kind of up here. This will be the one that primarily handles our production up here. Alright, as you can see, there's all kinds of funky holes I've left here. Easy fix. It looks like I did it intentionally now. Not a bad little countryside we got going on here. So let's actually see... Oh, there we go. Fire. Good thing we built that better road. They got there pretty quickly. You can actually click and see the integrity of the building here. They should be fine. Seems like they got there pretty quickly. Alright, so let's see how we're doing on their needs. Okay, we're satisfying everything except for a school. Not bad. Now, there's also happiness. Now, this is a whole different set of needs that are not required, but it is preferred to make your citizens as happy as possible. So it looks like they need schnapps, they need a pub, they want a church, and some beer. That's for the workers. The farmers only need schnapps and the pub. So let's go ahead and make some schnapps here. That's going to need some potato farms. another thing where you're going to need a decent chunk of land. Let's put that right behind our sheep there. And then the distillery. Alright, so we got the distillery going, we got the potatoes coming in. Now let's go ahead and make a pub. Now the pub's going to have to be within range of the actual citizens, as you can see by that green area there. It's pretty generous, pretty big size. People are willing to travel to the pub pretty willingly. Actually, we're going to put it over here since we're going to be expanding kind of up over in this area with our village next. That's going to just barely reach over here to the side. And it fits nicely with our current road setup as well. Let's go ahead and put in some more houses. So now, the happiness, they don't quite have enough schnapps. That's coming in here. Oh, there we go. Now our farmers are happy. So now if we have a fire, you can actually see we can call in the volunteer fire brigade, which will be able to put out fires faster, and that's just from us satisfying the happiness of our citizens. So hopefully you're starting to get kind of like the general flow of this. Hopefully this is translating, but you know, our next goal, I'm gonna wrap this up. Like I said, I didn't want it to get too long and too long-winded. Now our next goal would be upgrading our workforce to the next tier by upgrading all of these, or satisfying all these needs. They need a school. We'd be working towards that next, and then we would upgrade that housing. And then they would have a whole nother list of requirements. We'd also get another tab down here at the bottom, and this would allow us to make more buildings, higher scale citizens who will then work in the new buildings that we're using. But I wanted to quickly show off something. I don't have trade rights yet. I wanted to show off the trade system that's very important in Anno. So I'm going to use this overlay footage. Now what you're going to do here, you're actually going to pick your place, which is where you want your ships to start from, and you're going to pick who you want to trade with. Now you're also going to have to pick a ship you want to send on this route, along with loading up materials that you have an excess of. Because some of these will go to waste if you're just sitting on, like, say, too much wood or coal or whatever. You can actually send these off to another place and sell them, make some money. And you can also use this to get some rare materials that you can't make yet or you're running low on. So you can ship in some bricks from another place. If they have a lot of bricks, you can buy them from them. And the ship that you send on this route will just keep doing this back and forth between the two, grabbing the lumber, grabbing the coal, whatever you put in there, and selling it to the other faction. And that's a big part of Anno. So you definitely want to keep, you don't have to keep, you know, diplomacy with everybody. There is war. There are factions. There is some light combat in Anno, some like ship combat. We're too early on right now to really get in any. Maybe if we explored down here to the south, we could find somebody that would fight with us. Pretty straightforward combat here. It's primarily a city builder first, obviously, and then, you know, some light faction war competition going on. So yeah, hopefully that prepares you for the basics of Anno. Like I said, this is probably my favorite city builder franchise. Actually, it's pretty safe to say it is, unless you go back to, you know, elementary school playing SimCity version of myself who would say, you know, that is the best one. But times change, and I prefer the more goal-oriented, objective-focused quest, satisfying needs of Anno for sure. Yeah, I want a special thanks to Ubisoft for providing the channel code for this. That was great. Allowed me to play this a little early. That's awesome. And thanks for watching, everybody. Consider subscribing, checking out my Patreon if you like what I do here. Hopefully this helped. I usually do more scripted tips and guide style footage, so let me know if you like this kind of more casual teacher style kind. Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody.
Boom.